Hello everyone, I'm your local lore geek Wow, and today I'm going to be answering some questions and discussing theories regarding the recent Library of Secrets event. This event served as Mabinogi's 17th anniversary event for North America and its 20th anniversary event for Korea. Fair warning, there will be spoilers ahead for several generations and events. If you haven't completed Chapter 7 G25, brace yourself for being spoiled. Question 1. What is the Library of Secrets? The Library of Secrets functions as a repository of Arid stories, both big and small. It was given form by the Singer's Secrets, and it doesn't exist within the bounds of the world, thus it has no direct connection to Dumbarton. Think of the Library of Secrets as the TARDIS from Doctor Who. It exists outside time and space, thus permitting some timeline shenanigans. Question 2. What happened to Lula? Lula is a Militian from a different timeline that, by some mysterious circumstances, ended up in the Library of Secrets. In her possession was a letter from Duncan, addressed to the player's hero Militian. She doesn't know how she obtained that letter or why she had it. When the event came to its end, we learned from viewing Lith's memory that Lula's name and appearance were constructed by the Singer of Secrets, so that Lula could stick around for a while and interact with us before she ultimately returned to her timeline. For players who haven't completed Chapter 7 G25, we learn in that generation that the events of G1 through 22 have been locked in a time loop, resetting whenever the Militian hero of that time loop is defeated. You, the player hero Militian, managed not only to trailblaze past all the challenges the other Militians failed at, but broke the time loop entirely. After the time loop was broken, we encountered a Militian from a failed time loop that somehow ended up in our timeline for a short period of time. This timeline crisscrossing is similar to what happened with Lula. During the event, we learned Lula can only see a few of the generation photographs on the wall. For us, the player hero Militian, we can see up to Chapter 7, with Chapter 8 being the implied blank photo on the wall. Lula can only see up to Chapter 2, Iria. We also see later that Lula is wearing an anti-former robe, which is needed to complete Chapter 1, Generation 3, implying that she might have just finished G3 and is currently exploring Iria. When she returned to her timeline, she resumed her adventure until it, like all other timelines besides ours, failed and reset. Question 3. How did Duncan get the paper crane in our timeline? Despite the failed loop reset occurring, Lula's strong bond with us, the player, was enough to create a ripple in the timelines that resulted in Duncan of our timeline gaining the paper crane and the distant memory of someone reliable giving it to him. We learned from the Singer of Secrets that memories of people from different timelines would eventually fade from memory entirely, unless a strong bond was forged during the duration of the timeline crisscrossing. Before we move on to the next question, I do want to address two interpretations of Lula's situation. The previous self-interpretation. One could interpret that Lula's faux appearance and name were created so that we wouldn't be looking at a younger, alternate timeline version of ourselves, as the letter from Duncan that she has in her possession was addressed to us. It would make sense if it was to her originally, but now it's to us. The Meditic interpretation. Lula can easily be interpreted as an old player, one that stopped playing the game years ago and returned to take a peek to see what has changed since they played. One could also interpret Lula as an old friend that we made when we first started playing, but due to reasons they stopped playing and we haven't seen them since, adding a more personal and deeper connection. Question 4. Who is the Singer of Secrets? The real identity of the Singer of Secrets has been a mystery ever since his first appearance in the Soin Times Remembered, Times Forgotten event. Despite players prying him with keywords and questions, we have yet to get a straight answer. So what do we know about the Singer of Secrets? He collects stories from across Erin. He is aware of the Soin events and what all transpired within them and beyond. He created the Library of Secrets, which he calls his private sanctum, and it exists outside time and space. He is aware of future stories and hints to them. He gave Lula her appearance and name and was able to bend the rules in order to make her stay in the Library of Secrets for the duration of the anniversary event. He's aware of the roles of the Midnight Agents. Leith works under him as per a contract. He knew Margade, the founder of Doki Doki Island. He can break the fourth wall. He is the first NPC in the game to mention the term Mabinogi without a keyword prompt, and he is one of the few characters that have spoken in colored text, including 2 new colors, which we'll talk about later. With these points laid out, let's jump into the theories. Theory 1. Kabri, the god of music. The most supported theory for Singer of Secret's identity is that he is Kabri, the god of music. Special thanks to my friend and fellow Giegue and Soll who compiled this theory originally. In the Musicians of Erin book, we're introduced to the 3 great bards of legend. The first is Kabri, the god of music. Kabri is an incredible composer, musician, and poet, mastering all songs that were passed down before and after the Mortora War. He played a part in the opposition of the traitorous King Brez during the time between Mortora and the Second Battle of Magtarin. He also created the magic scrolls, which are still used today, and his songs are heavily based on our shared life experiences. His songs and work are still revered to this day, and thus he's considered the god of music. When the player gives the Singer of Secrets a music scroll, he has a unique reaction, quoting the first 2 paragraphs of Kabri's section of the Musicians of Erin, as well as the description of Kabri's voice. Singer of Secrets also has unique gift reaction to instruments. Now, music scrolls and instruments might seem normal for a bard of any kind to have special reactions to, but during the Library of Secrets event, we were rewarded Kabri's bugles for each main quest we complete. And if the player gives Margade's journal, a record of a bard's dreams, to Singer of Secrets, he directly gives you another Kabri's bugle. Margade's journal was obtained by players who did the 2024 and 2025 Doki Doki Island event. The journal recounts Margade's experiences during the end of the Second War of Magtarin and the founding of Doki Doki Island. Within it, Margade addresses Kabri as his friend. Seeing that both Kabri and Margade were active during the same time frame in Erin's history, it is highly likely that they were indeed friends and that this passage in the journal wasn't something metaphorical. When Singer of Secrets reads the journal, he speaks about its contents with an air of familiarity and admiration about what Margade had achieved, alluding that he knew him personally. He then asks the player if they would give him the journal, and if the player does so, he thanks them greatly and comments that even Urath, who left long ago, would have been delighted to see Margade's journal as well. So, Singer of Secret is possibly a friend of Margade's, and Margade is a friend of Kabri. You can kind of see where we're going here, right? The next piece of evidence is from Leith. When you talk to Leith, he'll bring up the Mabinogi and how it is a collection of stories, songs, and legends woven together and passed down through the ages by minstrels, bards, and troubadours, and that the Singer of Secrets has taken upon himself to record all these stories, songs, and legends and house them within the library. A description that fits Kabri's description pretty well. Theory 2. Opkan, the King of Strings. While this theory isn't as strong as the first one due to new evidence, when the Soin event occurred, this was a frontrunner. Opkan is known as the King of Strings and is one of the 3 most renowned bards mentioned in the Musicians of Erin book. He is said to be proficient in singing and playing string instruments, and was invited to the land of fairies and write songs about Mortora. He worked alongside the bard N to translate the ancient records of the Uthane as well. The primary reason why people suspected Singer of Secrets to be Opkan was during the Soin event, Singer of Secrets appeared with a Milky Way lute, a stringed instrument. So we have bard, lute, and probably not being entirely human/blessed by the Fae or gods, he was suspicious. Again, this isn't as strong as a connection as Kabri, but we were not given much to work with in the first event. Theory 3. Death, or a kin of death. During the Soin event, Singer of Secrets was very familiar with who the Midnight Agents are. The Midnight Agents are envoys of the underworld tasked with maintaining order between the living and the dead. The Midnight Agents appear in 2 Soin events, both stating they're there due to the veil of life and death being the thinnest during that time of year. This familiarity with the Midnight Agents and his overall look caused players to suspect Singer of Secrets was possibly the currently unnamed god of death or one of his underlings. Question 5. Who is Singer of Secrets and Leith's lord? As of this moment, we have no context or information about who this lord is, but it's safe to assume this individual is someone divine. So with that train of thought, here's some theories from us lore geeks on who this lord is. 1. Aton Shimini, the de facto lord of all the gods and the creator deity of Aaron. 2. Limerick, the god of love, the one trinity deity that has always had a presence in the story but we have yet to meet. 3. The unnamed god of death, swinging back around to the Sowen event and Singer of Secrets' awareness of the Midnight Agents and folks' fates. 4. Giegue, the god of peace, the last of the Trinity, so they too are a contender in this. There's also a theory going around that Giegue may be the god of the dead, so probably should include that on this list. Or 5. One of the many lore geeks that are obsessed with this game, like Giegue, Soll, or myself. This is a joke. Now for some bonus lore. Urath. Urath is a new character introduced via giving Singer of Secrets the record of a bard's dreams. This was confirmed by the localization team to be an actual character and not a typo like some people suspected. It's the name of a character from Singer of Secrets' past. We don't have any further information about this character besides that they knew Margate as well. And when researching their name, the only thing we found that may be a reference is the Norse Nords Urd. If this character is a reference to the Norse Nerds, then that creates an interesting context to Urath, Singer, and others around the library, being fate tellers of the past, present, and future. The last subject of this video is discussing the usage of colored text in Mabinogi. With this event, we got 2 new colors spoken to us, both by Singer of Secrets, that definitely set off alarm bells for us lore geeks. So I want to provide an explanation of what the previous colored text in the games represent, and give a stab at what the 2 new ones are. Yellow text. Yellow text appears the most frequently in the game, appearing as important things to remember. This ranges from game mechanics, tutorials, key items, and spoken stories that bear significance to the overall plot. So this one's pretty straightforward. Red text. Second most seen color text. Red text usually represents something ominous, sinister, dangerous. During the generations, red text would appear on screen, not in the NPC dialogue box, giving it a more ominous entity vibe as sinister words are whispered in the background while we're speaking to an NPC or fighting against a boss. NPCs that speak with red text are usually making direct threats or foretelling doom, so it's safe to assume red text equals bad. Green text. Green text has only appeared a handful of times during the spans of the Chapter 7 updates. The first time was in the Pet Trainer questline with Pinky, speaking a promise or vow, possibly a geas, in regard to her friendship with Cattell. The second time is what people presume to be the original Kalia in the Glenburna questline, speaking a prophecy about upcoming events. What we lore geeks have determined is that green text is used for magical promises or prophecies, statements bound by magic or divinity that pave a path into the future. Blue text. Blue text was one of the 2 new colors introduced in the Library Secrets event. Its usage was only for Lula's name after we learned that it isn't her real one. Since this is our only example at this present time, the best we can assume is that blue text is used to emphasize a fake statement. Lula's name is fake. And if we look at her appearance, which is also blue, it too is fake, as it was all created by the Singer of Secrets. So we're pretty confident that blue text means something is false. Purple text. Purple text appeared a single time during the Library Secrets event. When we were spectating Leith's memory about Lula's departure, we get an internal thought from Singer of Secrets regarding the situation. The fact this was a completely new color text and not just default white with his inner musings set off alarm bells. Not to mention, he opened his eyes for this, and for a character whose eyes are usually always closed, whenever these sort of characters open their eyes, you know something important's going down. It is possible that Singer was inserting his thoughts into Leith's memory for us to observe and gain further context, or a fourth wall break to us, the player, via the memory. Our best stab at what purple text means is that this was an intrusive thought, something that's not supposed to be present, but it's present anyway, and it's here. That's really all we got with this one. But with that, we've reached the end of this video. Hopefully this helps answer your questions and gives you some context to the shenanigans of the Library of Secrets event. If you have any other questions or theories you'd like to share, feel free to comment below or check out the Mabinogi Discord server and join us in the discussions there. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, take care!